Hi all, this is Mike. I'm going to try to make a video here to help our training endeavors. The first thing you see on the screen here is the new HP certification sheet. I went through and tried to clean up the first spreadsheet I sent you of the things we need to do by May 31st. You'll be able to find this spreadsheet on the support site. And of course, you just click on training that needs done by May 31st, and then this spreadsheet's going to come up. I'm also going to send this video out in an email too. But I've tried to kind of separate these in the groups, the qualifications we need. You notice I color coded them into groups, tried to group them in black and white and color. You see this first one here I'm pointing at. That is the actual M525, which is the black and white low-end mono laser group. And then you see some of the other machines that are grouped in with it. And then we have the M575 right here, and that's the color low-end group. These two machines look very similar, and again, they're the low end. And I've also put them in an order where this group right here would be what I would work on first if you don't already have it. Then I would work on this group here if you don't already have it. Then this group called the green group, the pink group, the yellow group, then the green group. Then I work on the blue printers, and then the lavender group. And then I don't know what the heck color this is down here, but anyway, this is what I would work on last. So back up here, the M525, a small black and white MFP, the newer ones. And so I would work on this first, then the M575, which is a small color. These two look very similar. Then I would work up here to the M712, which is a medium mid mono laser jet, and it doesn't really have an MFP in it. It's just a printer, but it's kind of grouped in with this MFP M775, which is a color. They're very similar. They're newer. And then the newest high-end mono laser jet would be the M830, which is black and white, and then the color companion to that model is the M880, which is a color device. Those two are very similar. And then we move down in here to the new printer, the black and white mono printer, which is an M601, 602, and 603. And then this is a little bit older machine. That's why I put it at the end. Unlikely we would do warranty work on these. Some warranty work, but not as likely as these three groups here, which are very new models. But this is grouped in the 455, 4555, and then that's a black and white. And then here's a color 4520 machine. And also the 4540 is really, CM4540 is the color companion to the M4555. And then down in here, we're probably not going to have too many of these. These are really not enterprise grade machines, but you've got the M425 and then the M475. The M425 would be black and white, small machine, and the M475 would be the companion to this that's color. And these are small machines and not really considered enterprise grade machines, so we would have some of those. That's why I put those at the end. So these are the ones we want to work on, and we want to get qualified on these before May 31st. So that's kind of a general idea of how that's set up. And then I'm going to go through the HP training site to try to shed some light on how they've set this up and hopefully answer some questions and try to help you navigate this site. So let's go ahead and go to that site. I'm making an assumption that everybody has been able to log in and is able to get to this page that I'm showing you right here. we can go ahead and work through this process. On this home page, this is where you would search for your training. You could go to the search right here. I did pull these directly out of the site right here. So I copied and pasted these in. So you could copy this right here and paste it right into here, and it should find it. It might take it a little bit longer if you do that. The other thing you can do is just pick, like I said, the M525. You can go in here and put M525 and hit go, and it'll go out and search for that certification. And here is the certification right here. So here's the one that matches exactly the one we want to look at. Okay. Once we click on this, then we have the ability, once we click on it, this shows us what we need, the classes we need to take to attain this certification. So in the very first area here, we have required prerequisites. So to get this certification, we have to take this class and or this class. You notice up here it says complete one of 2 available courses and certifications. So we could take the Future Smart, which is web-based self-pace, and this is where we'd register for that course. Or we could just go ahead and take the exam, which is a Pearson VUE exam, as a prerequisite to get this certification. So besides doing one of these, then we have a core requirement here, and notice these are both in red. So we have to take one of these, and then we have to do this core requirement here to be able to pass. So here's where we would register for the course, and then we would take this, then we would be set. Once we register for this course and one of these 2 courses, once we pass this and we pass this, then we would have the certification for the VEP low-end mono laser service qualification for the P3015, the 500 MFP, which is the M525, and the Enterprise Flow, which is the 525C, and then the MFP 521. So all those would be covered under this once we did one of these and this one. Now down here, these are reference courses and recommended prerequisites. They are not required, but if you want to register for these and go through them, they might help you pass the test inside of this core requirement here. So that's what those would do. You could, if you wanted, click on that and register for the certification, and it will let you go through that course or this course over here. I will say, after I say this, that this hasn't always been working perfectly for everybody, so we're going to have to just work through it. If you have problems, you can talk to me and we can try to work through it, or we send out the phone number where you can call HP Learning and try to let them help you work through a problem. Now I'll say, once you registered for the course, then you can go into the My Learning tab, and this is, I'll try to explain this because this can be somewhat confusing. If you look at My Enrollments, these are all the classes that you've registered for, and it also shows you, it allows you to view progress, to drop. If you click on here, the plus sign, then you can launch the content for the Pearson VUE test. That'll take you there. Or if you click on this, you can launch the content of this class, this 575. You can launch the content of this and take the course. So that's what My Enrollments is. It shows you all the classes. Okay, if you go to certification, this shows you the certifications, and if you click on it, this shows you again where we were when we searched for the actual certification. Once we click on this, this shows you what you need to take, like we just looked at. So I've completed the HP Future Smart, so I don't have to do that. I just have to do this core requirement uh, for the 9050 and the M830. If I go through this class and pass this test at the end, then I am going to be certified on this certification. So again, enrollments is where I do all my classes that I've signed up for and registered under these certifications right here. And I think some of you are familiar with this. If you have trouble, I can help you over the phone, or I can do a go-to-meeting with you and we can walk through this process where I can watch your screen and we can do exactly what we need to get this going, because it is somewhat confusing. So again, my certification shows you this is the certification I'm working on. These are the required prerequisites I have to do. This is the core requirement. These are things I can do to help me pass this test under the core requirement, or pass a Pearson VUE test if there's one listed. You notice in this one, which is the newest M830, you notice there's no thing here that talks anything about a Pearson VUE test. It would be off here to the side and say HP3. So I really do think they're getting rid of the Pearson VUE test and they're going to just make up their own test. So again, that's certifications. And enrollments is after you've signed up for those classes back in certifications. Now here's where you can go in and actually launch your course and take the course. Then once you've done that, under transcripts is where you actually go to see what you're certified on. Now you can see in my content here, this is a little bit screwed up, and I'll keep mentioning that this whole site is a little bit jacked up, and we're just going to have to work through it, because here it shows I'm certified on the same thing 3 times on the same day. And what happened in this scenario is the content stopped, it wouldn't work. I had to start over again twice to finish the content. So that's just something, again, we're going to have to work through, because this site is a little bit jacked up. Now with you, it's a little frustrating to me that they can't, they're holding our feet to the fire and saying we got to be certified before we can do warranties, but their site's all jacked up and doesn't work right. So you know what, to me, and I think everybody else would agree, they should have fixed this first and then held our feet to the fire. It's a little unfair, in my opinion, that they're holding our feet to the fire and making us get certifications when clearly, and I think everybody's experienced this to a degree, their course or their site is kind of jacked up and their courses aren't working right, and you have to hold your mouth just right to get it to work sometimes. So unfortunately, that's a necessary evil we're just going to work through, and we'll just kind of go through it, and I'll help you whenever I can. And I might turn you back over to, like, if I can't help you, if it's something on their learning site that you have to call them. Like Tim Thread had an issue. He got locked out of the site for no apparent reason. We had to call them. They fixed it, but all his old training disappeared off of his site. But then we noticed today that it said it was trying to update his training. So apparently it's trying to connect to the old database to get into his new user, because what it appears is this new user got corrupted in some way, and they actually had to make him a new user in the system to actually get it to work. So I'm saying all that to say, hey, the site is jacked up. We're just going to have to work through it, have to have some patience, and just keep working on it until we get it done. And hopefully it looks like they are going in a good direction, which is getting rid of Pearson VUE, which is one less thing to muddy up the waters, one less site they have to connect to, one less database they have to check with to make sure you've done something. And they don't have to work with a vendor. They're just going to be responsible for their own content, which is probably going to help it in the long run. So that is, I think, pretty much it for this video. I hope that helps you out. I'm going to just kind of in a nutshell go over this again. When you went to home, you're going to go in here, find the course you need. You can figure that out by going over here to your certification sheet and saying, oh, M525 is what I want. Or you can just copy this whole thing here, and you can go back over here. You can paste it into here and hit go, and it should find it, because that is the exact term that came out of this site, but it will take a little bit longer because it's trying to sort through more stuff. So we'll wait here a minute, but it will eventually come up and find it. Like you saw before, I was able just to put M525 in, and it brought that up faster. But here it is. It did bring it up, and you can see here's the one that you were interested in doing right here, that was on the site. And that gives you a place to go, and you can start there. See, it also pulled up the 575, which is for the color version of this. But here's where you would click, and then here's where you sign up for the courses. I don't want to belabor this too much. And once you sign up for the courses, then when you go back, click on My Learning. Then in your enrollment is where your courses would be that you just signed up for. Then you could launch your if you wanted to, you could go ahead and launch your content from here. The certifications would take you back to where you started, because it's going to go back in here and show you if you've already done some of the prerequisites and what core requirements you have to have, what tests you have to have. If there's a Pearson VUE test, it's going to be over here to the side and say HP3. And then your transcripts finally are where you can go and print out your certificate of completion and see, once you actually did one of your enrollment classes and take all the appropriate tests and classes, did it actually certify you? From talking to people, it seems like sometimes, especially if you do a Pearson VUE test, it might take a day or two, maybe a week to show up here. My experience is if you do a test, just HP, and you don't have to go to Pearson VUE to do the test, it shows up here the same day. So again, I hope that's helpful. I'm going to send this link out, and again, I hope it's helpful. Just call me with questions, and we'll just kind of work through it and do the best we can and try to get this all knocked out by May 31st. Okay? Have a good day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.